Subscribe.
Hey!
Yeah, my man.
Thanks, man. Just interacting with the fans.
Yeah,
dude.
man.
What
We're
can
back.
you say? Holy cow.
Fans love us when they see us. All 45 of them. We're back with Real Legends. I'm your host, Bo.
I'm Dan.
And we just got out of seeing Young Washington. And we're going to give our reactions to the movie. Spoiler free at first, but if you haven't seen the movie, we are going to spoil it. So Dan, I'll leave it for you.
Spoil free. I think it's a good movie. It's fun. It's a lot more violent than I thought it would be. Honestly,
Yeah.
they like kind of went for it.
Yes.
Like it's not bloody, which is nice. So it's not like gory by any means, but it was like, wow, they're really kind of showing you what it's like to be a warrior at this time.
Yeah. I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think that's important to like show the thing we talk about all the time, which is like if we live in a world, whether you believe it or not today, that things were taken by the strength of your arm and the size of your army. And if you couldn't defend yourselves, then someone would just take what you had.
Yeah, this movie does a very good job illustrating that. I think I'm curious how historically accurate all the scenes were. I don't really actually know very much about George Washington pre-Revolutionary War, so I'd be interested to fact check that.
Yeah.
If it's all accurate, it's a very cool, amazing story.
Yeah. I guess we'll save this for the spoilers, but yeah, just even stuff about his half-brother and things. I wasn't really familiar with that.
I've never heard of Lawrence Washington.
Yeah, and I want to dive into that with at least my spoiler thoughts. Yeah, more violent than I thought it would be, for sure. But yeah, like they do refrain from showing too much blood or blood being spilt and things. I thought it was very well done. Had some good actors in the movie, and I thought the guy who played George Washington did a great job. And like you said, I'm not familiar with all the history either, so like if this is pretty accurate from his like youth through young adulthood and his aspirations and like his personality, pretty cool.
Yeah,
I liked it.
If it's all based off of true events, it's very cool. But while I was watching it, I was wondering, I'm like, how much of this was exaggerated to be a cool movie, right? How much of it was like, did this really happen? So
Right.
I'd be curious to know if that's true or not.
I feel like there's a saying that I love where it's like, you have to be a bit of a liar to tell a good story. And I think that rings true
That's
with
very true.
pretty much any storytelling, right? Because even history kind of is written in a way that's like, well, history is written by the winner. So
Yep.
But Braveheart's a great example.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe not 100% historical, but very entertaining, very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
agree.
Well, if you don't have any other spoiler-free thoughts, then let's just jump into spoilers.
Well, I don't think that the movie is perfect. I think that it has some issues. I think that it's clearly made on a lower budget. You can tell. The camera work in some moments was weird, and some of the audio choices were interesting with like the high-pitched like. That was really annoying.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes the story is a little bit lopsided and kind of like jumbled. But outside of those issues, which I think again are minor, like I really liked the movie. And I think it's very cool to see George Washington not in his like typical role, because I've read a lot of history about George Washington, specifically the Revolutionary War. And the man that you read about there is a confident, capable military genius. And he's very, very stoic, and he doesn't share his emotions at all. And all the people that he works with think that he's like a god. And so it's cool to see him in this circumstance where he's not very respected by anybody.
Right.
But he still has that attitude of, I should be somebody, and I want to be somebody.
Right.
Which I thought was really cool. It's just like, it's almost like people are just born with that, like innate. Even if they've accomplished nothing, they still feel like they deserve respect, or like they need something more out of life than just being a farmer in his case.
And to me it doesn't come off, and I don't know the history of George Washington, but it doesn't come off as, wow, I lost the word.
Arrogant?
No, it's where you feel like you expect it.
Yeah.
Entitled.
Entitled.
He doesn't come off entitled. He
No.
wants to earn it.
He does.
He wants to be like, well, why can't I do it? Like, I'll prove myself. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll learn. I'll grow. I'll read. I'll study. I'll train. Whatever it takes. I could do it too. I could do whatever these people are doing. I could do whatever.
Yeah. I think there's actually a line in the movie where he says, my greatest desire is to be over men or to command. He says, one of my greatest desires, or he says, a desire of mine, I can't remember the exact wording, a desire of mine is to command men, but my greatest desire is to merit.
Let's hold that thought for a second. I have to repeat that last line. Just a creaky little gate for the dumpster. We only film at the classiest establishments. So shout out to BK Lounge.
And I think that's something that they did really well in this movie is that he never like expects to just be given things.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he has been taught his entire life that he should expect nothing.
Right.
That he was born a farmer, he's going to die a farmer.
Right.
Be happy with what you have, don't ask for more.
Right.
And when he goes and he does ask the first time, he just fails, like miserably.
Denied, yep.
Denied. And even when he does have his high position, it's like, well, you're colonial. We're going to send you to this thing where you can fail. It's not like a huge big deal if we lose. Like,
if you win, we win. If you lose, we still win because we
Yeah.
didn't officially lose.
yeah, exactly. But he just doesn't quit. And I think that's something that's very cool about George Washington's character. And you see that in the Revolutionary War. Like, the thing that really sets George Washington apart from other leaders historically is that the man just never quit. The odds were always stacked against him, and he was just like, we're going to keep going. And you see that in this movie really, really well, actually.
Yeah, this movie paints a very good picture of someone who has great ambition and tries really hard and doesn't give up when people say no. There's so many interactions with superiors or nobles or generals and things where they're like, hey, sorry, no thank you. And he's like, but, and he just keeps going.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you haven't thought about this, or like, what if I could offer this, or I'll volunteer. You don't even have to pay me. And so it paints a very good picture of someone who tries really hard, and then when they meet a big failure, like anyone, he's very tempted just to quit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's historically accurate, but this does shape for a good movie, right? A story, character arc, where it's like you go hard and you battle and you battle and battle, and then there's this moment of just like, well, shoot, like I gave everything, and I guess
And his friend
I
dies
kind of
because
lost.
of it. Yeah.
And thankfully he had the inspiration and guidance of his half brother, which I want to touch on too, but then his mother as well, just saying like, look, you can either learn from this and fail once, or you can quit and fail twice because you quit. And I really love that. I think it's a great message. It's a great quote and great way to think about life. And because there's a lot of things I've tried in my life that I haven't done great at or I've failed at, but as I've pressed forward, there's also been the wisdom or just benefit, second chances, new opportunities. And so, I really like that aspect.
Yeah, life is full of new opportunities. I think it's very cool that he just keeps going, even though the system that's been constructed around him is clearly horrible and stupid. And Washington actually mentions this a few times, which is why I think it's cool that they don't really focus on like the revolution, because it just wasn't really a part of people's ideas at that point. Like, they were worried about the French, and they were the idea of like becoming their own country, being an American, was like super foreign. And
Sure.
But you can see those sparks in Washington's character.
Right, and even kind of the men around him, right? Because they're like, hey, out here, this is how we do things. Like, this is Virginia. And this is like, we've built this country up, and this is the way we do things.
Yeah.
And they're kind of starting to take some identity onto themselves, which,
exactly.
again, I don't know if that's historical, but
That
seems like
actually
it
is
makes sense.
extremely historically accurate.
Yeah.
In fact, when George Washington starts to fight in the Revolution as the general, he is first positioned in New England, and so he has to be over New England people. He has to deal with New Yorkers and mostly Massachusetts people. He can't stand the New Englanders. They drive him crazy because they have their own separate identity and culture. And they see him as a Virginian coming in and telling us what to do. We don't want a Virginian coming in. We do things in Massachusetts and New England our way.
Yeah.
And that he has to deal with that the entire time as he's the general, and he has tons of letters just berating the New Englanders, how horrible they are. Yeah. So the idea of like one American country was completely foreign.
Yeah.
It was you were British or you were Virginian, or you were British or you were Georgian. You were British or you were Carolinian, right? One of those things, but you weren't American.
Which lines up really well with, you know, when they come into, the colonies coming into Congress, because, they all have different opinions and thoughts about what should happen. Yeah. And some are just like, we're doing our own thing. Like, your war in Virginia is not our war.
Yeah. Which is why it was ironic they called them the United States, actually, because they were extremely divided.
But it's some unity.
But it's very cool that such a we're kind of getting into the revolution,
sure,
which is my favorite topic ever. But you can see Washington in the movie. He mentions a few things. He mentions, I am determined, my value as a man is determined based off of the relatives I don't even know. That doesn't seem fair.
Right.
And it's like, okay, yeah, literally talking about a class system and how rigid that can be.
You're born into it.
And then also he's like, even no matter how hard I try, the system that exists right now deprives me of who I can marry, deprives me of opportunities. It keeps me into one spot where what should matter is my own merit.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is such an American idea.
Yeah, that definitely made its way in.
And it could only happen when one group of people moves somewhere else and then those people have kids and they feel the identity of this new place. And that only happens if that new place is completely new. Because if you move to somewhere else with an existing culture, then you just adopt that one.
Right.
But coming to a new world, all ideas are on the table.
Yeah.
All of them. And it was really cool to see like a very cool example of pre-revolution attitudes and ideas, even just slightly being mentioned by George and also his other Virginians. And it was just like, oh, this is so cool. You can totally see how the revolution happened. It was because of these structures that existed. And people just saying, this is stupid. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the taxes and stuff that come in later.
Right.
And all of the dissolvings of legislatures and all that kind of stuff that King George ends up doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I got to mention the whole story with his brother again. Got to research it, but what an awesome guy! Really takes him under his wing like a father.
Yeah,
and educates him, teaches him the ways of the world that he's experienced, gives him a lot of insight, and just encourages him how to be a great man. It's like, you want to be a great man? Start by reading and learning from great men, and then really bringing this into a Christian realm. That's what Christ is wanting us to do, right? A disciple is someone who imitates. Yeah. That's like where that word comes from, when it goes back into Hebrew and things and their meaning of disciple. And so you imitate what you want to become until it becomes a part of you.
So this is true. Lawrence Washington heavily taught and mentored his younger brother, his younger half brother, George Washington.
It's freaking awesome.
Serving as his primary role model after his father died.
Yeah, what a stud.
Pretty accurate then.
Yeah.
Taught him all about dude, the book of etiquette and gentleman behavior was sick.
Yeah, I was like, where do I get a copy of that?
Why do we not? This is something I wanted to talk about, actually. I think that as Americans, especially as modern Americans, we tend to view everything that was British as stupid because we've been taught our entire lives that, the dumb British, and we fought them and we pushed them out and they were tyrannical and horrible and they offered nothing, right?
Sure.
And so we overthrew all of this system and created our own, right? And so we automatically associate British culture with negativity. And a lot of things were stupid, like the aristocracy, the lack of social mobility, all that kind of stuff was really dumb.
Sure.
But the book on etiquette and being a gentleman, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We might have lost some of that. And just the...
I think we carried it for a while. Yeah, we did. Definitely have lost it over the generations.
We definitely have, especially as modern Americans. Imagine a book of etiquette that everyone read. Maybe there is such a thing and we just don't know about it because we're lower class or whatever. but
Speak for yourself.
I drive a Tacoma.
I shave.
Yeah, but I think that another thing they talk about constantly in the movie is duty.
Yeah.
Like,
Washington's very big on duty.
George Washington is constantly hounding his men, like, you said you were going to do this, you have to do it.
Yeah.
The woman that he's dating also, like, ends up leaving him because of duty. Like, this is a very foreign concept today in modern America. We need to do what makes us happy. We need to do what makes us feel good. The attitude of we should do something because it's our duty, that is, like, extremely foreign.
Yeah.
And that was something that during the whole movie I was just like, oh, give me more of this. Give me more of, like, this passion
more back in our culture.
of duty. Like, I'll do whatever it takes because I said I would do it. Like, that's awesome.
No, I agree.
I was rereading the Declaration of Independence, and the phrase that every American knows is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
And it's very cliche to say, and what we think of when we think of pursuit of happiness is I should do things that make me happy.
Right.
And this movie does a very good job of what they actually tried to say when they were talking about pursuit of happiness, and it was the pursuit of virtue, and it was the pursuit of your duty. And the idea was that you did things that you should do. You were developing into the character that could be happy, which meant you were doing what you should. What you should, meaning your duty.
Yeah.
That men were supposed to provide for their families and serve their country and die for their country. Like, that was your duty.
Yeah, and I think the important part of that, we're endowed by our Creator to be a virtuous person. That's who we're meant to become, and that's who we're responsible to become as well.
And you see it in this movie, like, the upper class people, like, they are, like, super snobby, but, like, they do follow what they think is correct to a T. Like, they're following, like, all of their, like, specific rules. And then even, like,
For the most part,
even the more, like, rowdy people, because they still feel an obligation to serve their country.
Yeah, well, when George is, like, yelling at his colonial brothers, right, his Virginian brothers, like, you took on the coat, you said you'd be here. Like, I was like, wow. Like, I need to be in a position where I could actually say that to someone, because that was, like, awesome. And then they don't, like, fight him. Like, you know, in our culture today, I think people would be like, screw you, like, I'm going to fight you. But they're like, well, he's right.
Well, just the yeah, exactly. Like, even the lower class that, like, are sitting in a you see them in a bar, like, they're a lot more rough, but, like, they honored what they said they were going to do.
Right.
I think that's really cool.
They take some sort of importance and honor with holding to that word that they gave.
I'm going to do a ton of research on how accurate this movie is, but if the movie is historically accurate, it's awesome. It's amazing. If it's historically inaccurate, it's still a fun watch.
Yeah. I mean, again, how many of our favorite movies really historically accurate? I mean,
all of them.
Especially
Interstellar
Star Wars. Interstellar happens in the future.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't know if it's true or not yet. One day it might be.
All right. Well, I feel like I could talk more about this, but it would end up leading into more of, like, you know, surrounding material, U.S. history, culture, which we love to talk about on the show, but we'll keep it a little brief. We'll round out with our thoughts on any last thoughts about the movie itself, and then a score, and we'll get out of here. I'm still debating on what I want to give this first score. I feel like, from like as an American and as someone who loves my country, like, I want to give this, like, a really high score. Yeah. Because it's awesome. But then I'm like, well, as a movie, how well did it work for me? How well is it done? And I'm floating between, like, a 7.5 and an 8.
That's right where I am. I'm at an 8.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed it enough. I mean, of all the movies that we've seen in the theater this year, this was my favorite. So.
Yeah. What did we see? We saw
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. Disclosure Day. And
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Project Hail Mary is, like, obviously bigger budget, like, really well done. I think it's a very well made movie. This, though, this speaks to me a lot more.
I agree.
I like this movie. This is my kind of movie.
Me too.
So yeah, I think we'll leave it at that.
I give it an 8.
I think I'll go 8 on it with
I'd
you.
recommend it. Yeah, people should watch it.
Definitely check it out. Definitely. Every American, I think, would benefit from seeing this movie.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like, besides the fact that it's just a good movie, you're also supporting, like, content that is getting bigger, and they're creating more things that aren't politically woke and that aren't disappointed in you and that, like, aren't trying to lecture you. It's just like here's this awesome story about America and like one of our most amazing leaders. You're gonna love it.
Right. And another thing I will say too, that's important, that's we've talked about before on the show, is Angel Studios is someone that distributes a lot of movies. That doesn't mean they're behind the creation, like the script or the producing or the directing of the film or even the edit. And so there's a difference between a producing company that distributes a film and one that makes it. And really the company behind this film that made it is Wonder Project. And the stuff I have seen of theirs, I've really liked. Their David TV series about the Old Testament David on Amazon Prime, I thought was really well done. And you can see a lot of that in here, the reflection of that.
Go and support these people. Like if you've subscribed to us and listened to us long enough, you know that we're not libs, and we're Christians. So if you are a Christian who likes traditional values and wants to support patriotic traditional things, you've got to go to the theaters and support people when they make them.
Yeah.
And this one's not hard to watch either.
No.
Because a lot of times you want to go and support something because it's the right thing to do, but the movie sucks.
Right.
This one's a good movie.
Yeah. Well worth the ticket.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Get out there and see it. All right, man. Well,
Amen.
until next time, I guess we'll see you at the cinema concessions.
Catch you on the flippity flop.